So the next 3 days.
If you all rise, please. Join me in a blessing. Bow your heads, please. Father God, be with us today as we do the business of this utility for the benefit of the people of Owensboro. Give us your guidance and your wisdom. We ask you to watch over our employees, keep them safe, help them return home safely every day to their family and loved ones. We ask you to protect those who protect our freedoms, especially those in the military, those overseas who face evil each and every day. We ask you to bless the food we receive. We ask this through your Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen. Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Today is our regular board meeting, but it is a special meeting because we are holding it on a day that we do not usually meet in. So the agenda that's published is the only items that we can speak to today. So today we will not be covering anything on the power supply options. It was not on our list. So, any changes to the agenda, Mr. Chairman? No. All right. First item we have for action is our cooperative purchasing agreement. Pat, you want to brief the commission on what we're trying to do here?
Yes, under the Model Procurement Code, public agencies are authorized to enter into cooperative purchasing agreements with other public agencies, which allows them to share purchasing, procurement, and KYMEA has already approved such an agreement. We worked on this together, so this would allow us to participate in their procurement when they send out bids. There's no obligation, it's just the opportunity, and this could be useful to us. So I recommend that you adopt and authorize it be signed.
Make a motion to approve. Second. Any discussion?
Is this the same agreement that anybody else that would be part of?
Any
member. Yes, any member.
Madisonville or Frankfurt, anybody?
Anyone who's
They
a
would
member.
sign exactly the same,
Yes.
same contract,
Yes.
same agreement.
Yeah, this was presented at the last meeting with KYMEA.
Yeah, so this will allow us to effectively use their RFPs and their procurement process for the benefit of our ratepayers as well.
We don't have to do a separate RFP for a supply that we're looking for, but we have an agreement with them.
It would just be like any other purchasing or procurement agreement,
Right.
like it might be for
And in fact, there's even such an agreement
school
like
system
with
might
the,
have for supplies.
yes, that's
Or
the
for city might have for vehicles or something like that.
right, similar to the state process where they have, you can also bid, use their bids for purchases that the state has contracts on. Right.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
For some reason my internet connection is not working.
Terry Lawrence, I'll figure it out.
All right, so do we have a paper copy of the agenda by any chance? All right. All right. Now, next item we have is our consent agenda.
Move for approval. Second. All those in favor say aye.
All right. We can't access the internet. Can we get to the
I have it all already
presentation?
for us.
Okay, good. So next item, commissioners, is our body of home presentation. And as an introduction to this, we're getting ready, as we told you in the past, to recommend to you the complete build out of the city with the fiber to the home system. part of the budget that you'll be looking at the work session will include, the acquisition of these bond funds to be able to build out the program, under a 6-year build-out program. And Chris and Jason are gonna give you a presentation of the business plan that supports that recommendation. We're not asking for any action on this item today. We'll be asking for that action as part of the budget approval. We anticipate that we would be before the city commission for bond authority in late July, early August, and there will be no electric rate impact associated with this bonding. As you will see, the program is a self-funding program. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Chris Turner.
Thank you. Well, I was really hoping to do my telecom update before this,
Well, you
because
can
that's
do
some
that.
really great news to present there, but,
Okay.
It was like a.
is that okay? If
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a couple slides, where's the clicker?
I have it.
Talk about internet
My
reliability.
mouse is
Yeah,
not.
right now, please.
My mouse is not working.
That's a good one.
Well, her mouse isn't working either, so it's just a bad day all around for IT.
Must be a
Issues there.
Wi-Fi issue.
From-
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, do a little song and dance for us, Chris.
If you don't mind, we'd like to see
Now-
you dance.
Oh, here we go.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, that works, all right, here we go. If you will indulge me here for a moment. On our commercial side of our business, an excellent month. This last January was fantastic, one of our best months ever as far as commercial installations. Everything you see here is an installation, it's not just a sale, it's an installation of a customer. So lots of new customers, new circuits, very important, not just upgrades. And then we had a couple disconnects, but keep in mind that like these two disconnects right here were point-to-point circuits converting to internet circuits directly with us. And there have been some recent developments here that are culminating at the end of this month that are driving a number of our point-to-point customers to migrate to internet services directly with us. Another organization had a few issues, and that's actually creating a drive for internet with us. So any questions about this slide right here? Again, very happy to see that continuing to grow, especially that green line.
What was the one disconnect?
The one disconnect right here, this one, they simply weren't using the service anymore, they actually went out of business. And it wasn't a result of their internet being down that they went out of business. Here's our bandwidth growth, so you can see how that has been progressing, and there's that one disconnect of bandwidth there, that wasn't internet service. Commercial phone has been doing very, very well, and in fact, we finished up March with 299. We are now up into the 300 range for commercial phone customers. And you can see it's still a variety of services. So SIP trunks, very, very popular with our customers are still the basic business lines for $24.99. So a lot of folks are coming for that lower voice rate and then also connecting for internet services with us. And then our residential internet, you can see that this was the phase 1 pilot here, and then slowly adding, losing a few along the way, and then now we've launched our phase 2 pilot, and that is starting to take off as well, and I have some more detailed slides about that in the next presentation. So to kind of sum it up, January was one of the best months ever. We've launched our phase 2 pilot area, which I will get into more detail about. Did want to make you aware that we did have some damage to a 288 count fiber that resulted in about $6,000 worth of expense. Couldn't capitalize that because a squirrel got into this and chewed it all up over here in the phase 1 pilot area. So that's a really expensive squirrel right there, and it costs a lot of time, a lot of overtime hours to get that service restored. But we did manage it in a way that customers were out for minimal.
Squirrel must have got confused. He's supposed to chew on the electrical line, so it
Well,
killed him.
Supposed to chew kind of warm.
Well, and I've heard that it chewed a lot of different folks over in that area. And then I also wanted to make you aware that there was a write-off of material in the warehouse at the end of last year, which has resulted in an $8,000 a month hit to our, to our bottom line through to the end of this fiscal year. So the financial results that you have seen since January and will continue to see have this impact on it. It was a total of about $50,000, and a lot of that was outdated fiber reels that had been damaged by the tornado many, many years ago and just had been sitting there in inventory, and finally decided we needed to get rid of them because it wasn't usable. Any questions about this? Okay, great. Okay, next. So there you go. I thought that would be a great segue for this. Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, how are you?
Right in.
Be quiet. Sorry, I've never had.
Here's the general background slide. You guys are all very, very familiar with what we have done since the mid-90s and how fiber has been very important to our business for quite some time. So we won't get too much more into the details of that. Some of you have been on the commission for many years, so I don't want to bore you too much. There are some newer members here, but you know, we have had numerous presentations on the benefits of fiber to the home, fiber optics in the community. Here's just a very small summary of the economic development impact, the fact that it's supported by the Chamber of Commerce for fiber. Any fiber growth in a community has had very specific quantitative, qualitative measurements that have said it's very good for the community as far as attracting new businesses, retaining residents. There has been some studies that have said it's contributed to a 3% growth in property values where fiber is available, where only other services are not. Essential development for our smart grid technologies too. So AMI, even though it won't be directly linked into the fiber to the home portion of the network, it still relies heavily on our fiber services to link those gateways out to all of those smart meters. And then of course, lots of different things coming out with the smart home and the Internet of Things that require more and more internet connectivity throughout the community. And it just can't be said enough how important, and we're seeing it right now, we rely on internet for access to all kinds of things. So when our residents have reliable access to the Internet of Things, it helps them to do millions of things as far as working at home, attending online educational courses, having access to job postings in a timely fashion, and just connecting them to the overall rest of the world. Again, the history of all of this. When I came here and originally presented the commercial business plan, there was this little portion of it that talked about residential fiber to the home and the possibilities with that. So that was back in 2013. After that, started to get more interested in what was going on. We met with Atlantic Engineering. They have done a lot of different fiber to the home constructions. They helped out Chattanooga, Tennessee in the early days. They helped out Russellville when they were deploying their gigabit fiber network. So we got a little bit better feel for what was going on. Then we actually took some personnel and went down and visited Russellville, EPB, the first gigabit city in Kentucky, and took a look at their operations and saw how successful it was. Terry presented the utility of the future, the smart grid, and all the different things with distributed automation that is essential, fiber optic connectivity is essential for. And then I held a couple educational sessions on the importance of fiber and some videos and things that I presented to you guys. Then we took a whole team and went down to visit Chattanooga and took a look at their entire operations from A to Z, including, most importantly, their fiber to the home operations. But we did get to see how they kind of operate as an entire utility. Very, very gracious folks, gave us complete access to their control center. Can't say enough about how great they did to help us out with this whole plan. Then I put together a sort of a basic fiber to home business plan, some fundamental key break-even type analysis that said, hey, I think this would be a good idea. Give us an opportunity to try this out. Let's do this phase one. Let's build it out for 558 homes. Let us invest this amount of capital. And by the way, if we achieve this 20% break-even point, it'll be worthwhile to do. And the break-even will probably be about 7 to 8 years on a simple basis. And the commission was kind enough to authorize me to go ahead and do that, or authorize us to go ahead and do that. We became a member of the Fiber Broadband Association, which was formerly known as the Fiber to the Home Council. So we became more active in the industry. I took another team, we went down to Jackson Energy Authority and took a look at their fiber to home operations. So really got a good handle on what was going on out there in other areas. Then I took myself and one of our technicians went and enrolled in the Certified Fiber to the Home Professional Training and became a Certified Fiber to the Home Professional. So I have that designation. We completed the construction of phase one and started to activate our first customers there in December of 2015. In August, we proposed a secondary phase to the pilot, and the commission approved that, and we completed construction back in February. And then Jason and I met with Magellan Advisors to sort of review where we were with this business plan, what we have done so far, to get a very high-level sanity check on what we're proposing. And that meeting went very, very well. And actually, they remarked how conservative we were on our assumptions and how we were looking at the business. They kind of felt like we should be even more aggressive with it as far as the numbers, but we are sticking to our conservative approach. So, here are the results of the pilots. So, year over year, from January to January, in the phase one area, which was right here, just to remind everybody, the town country subdivision, we connected 121 customers. From those initial connections, one of them chose to upgrade their service, make it a little faster, and two of them actually chose to downgrade their service, not disconnect, but just downgrade. They felt like the gigabit service wasn't worth the extra dollars they were paying because they really knew that they figured out that they could get by with about 50 megs or so. Anyway, and then we did have 7 disconnects, and most of those were actually from people in apartments, moving other places, selling homes. As a matter of fact, I'm not aware of anyone that specifically disconnected because they were unhappy with the service. And you'll see some survey results in a minute that sort of reinforce that. We did achieve our target 20% penetration rate in less than a year. And I say that we're currently at 21%. Actually, I just double checked the numbers, and if we round to the next decimal, we would be at 22% now penetration in that area. There was the total revenue from January to January, and then the construction capital that was required to achieve that annual revenue. For the phase 2 pilot, again up there on the top of that picture, from February to April, so very short-term results here to report, but we had already connected 42 customers. That number's up to 51 now. And then we, at that time, had 15 scheduled. We now have 8 scheduled. And honestly, I think the Easter holidays kind of slowed us down a little bit, but we have some more marketing that's going to be going out here soon. And then we were at a 5% penetration rate at that time. So that's growing. I think we're close to 6 now. Any questions on the pilot at all?
Nothing other than that's about a 7.5% return on the capital that you're gonna have to pay back.
Well,
It's gonna take about 7.5 years to.
Jason, when he gets to his extremely detailed financial analysis, I think you'll be surprised to what depth we delved into this, and taking some of the real world information that we had, as well as modeling a lot of various assumptions of the possibilities that things could happen.
What's your time frame for phase 2?
Well, phase 2 is already launched.
I mean, lost, but what's your time, when are you planning on saying, okay, we're through with phase 2, now we're ready for phase 3?
Oh, well, that's coming up here in the presentation, but that's the next budget cycle. What I'll have here is a proposal of how we want to proceed going forward.
When do you think you'll be at 20% penetration?
I would think it would be around similar time frame, so maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 months maybe. We'll have to see.
Chris, your cost associated with the projections you have was based on the installation of 2 pilots?
Cost projected.
The capital cost.
Capital cost, was it based on, well, you were modeling that off what you experienced through your pilot program?
Oh, for our model, for the financial, yes, absolutely.
So
yes.
did you have any underground in your 2 pilots?
We did have some, and Jason can talk to more specifics when we actually do the financial analysis. He'll have some slides up here and talk to you very specifically about some of the different assumptions. The assumption that we have for the overall model is that we are about a 70-30, almost 80-20%, and I forget, do you remember what the percentage of 80-20. 80-20%. So 80% of the city is aerial, 20% is underground. That was actually what was put into the larger model. So we were trying to use, almost everything is modeled off of the electric network and how that is, and mirroring that. I mentioned the customer survey. We did a very recent customer survey, and so here were these are some comments that customers made. I just kind of put those off to the side. And just wanted to highlight a few things. Question number 1 was how would you rate your OMU service? Is it good? Is it excellent? You can see almost 80% of the folks that responded said excellent. 17% said fair, and then 3.5% said good. No one, not a single person that responded to this said it was poor, that they didn't like it. I thought that was amazing to me. There's always someone who kind of, has to throw something in there. Nothing there. Another question was, would you recommend OMU FiberNet service? Getting a big deal to me. Almost 97% said yes, they would. And only one person said, I'm not really sure. No one said they would not recommend this service in this survey. And actually Sonia conducted the survey, helped to facilitate it all. If there's any details that you may need from us, we'd be happy to get that for you. We can give you the entire survey. But very, very pleased, and you can see the comments here for all of you.
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, please.
There was also a great response rate for the survey, which was nice. I think it gives the numbers a lot of credence.
I don't really want to dwell too much on this. I mean, I'll take as much time as you want, but you guys are fairly familiar with the product itself. It's a 100% fiber optic internet service, facilitates all of these other services. And by the way, we didn't include any of this stuff in the model as far as home networking, revenue that could possibly be generated from that, which is something that I intend to help facilitate. Some of the intelligent home security, phone services that we do have the capability to do. We're just going with a pure internet only model at this point. Here's the pricing. Give you some idea of the other offers that are out there. And I think I have a slide where, I do have a slide where I talk a little bit about the other offers that are out there. There's a lot of confusing bundling pricing that you see promoted. Some as low as $29.99. I think we're all familiar with, hey, $29.99. Wow, I can get that for $29.99. If you call in and try to get that, you will realize there are lots of different requirements for that. Some of them are that you can't even be a current subscriber to their service. You have to be off of their service for about 30 days before you'll be eligible to get those lower rates. So they quickly kind of move you up into higher rates. I know because I don't live in an area where I can get access to this, so I rely on a different service for my home. I made a few calls and didn't get anywhere near the level of pricing that was originally offered to me. So something similar. There is a provider that uses DOCSIS cable, and I think I talked about that a little later, but DOCSIS. They offer a 60 meg service, which is probably as comparable to this as it can be. The 60 meg is download. It's only about 5 meg upload. All of the speeds I'm quoting here are synchronous, so upload and download speeds, which makes just that in and of itself superior. Their offer was $69 for a 60 meg service, with minimal installation. They did offer a 100 meg service, but it was $104 a month, and they required a $200 installation to do that for me. Another provider that uses a different technology, digital subscriber line technology, they offered services up to 50. It was very clear it was up to 50, because everyone knows with that particular technology, it's subject to the distance from the equipment. There's lots of things that can slow that service down. They offered it for $40 though, but they had bandwidth, certain usage requirements. So if you exceeded a certain level, then they would charge you more, which I thought was interesting. Some of you may have heard of some of those trends with that particular area. Our target market, I think that's pretty clear, folks, what we're trying to do here. Overall, as I mentioned, very conservative. We're just saying we want 20% of the market. There's a potential for about 4,000 customers out there, for 24,000 customers out there. But we're only seeking to serve just 20% of that would make this worthwhile. So 4,800 customers for our entire area of Owensboro. Here's those alternate service providers. I mentioned the technology. I talked a little bit about the weaknesses and the strengths. There is a common perception of poor customer service, slow speeds, frequent service disruptions, and confusing marketing offers. So people, I think, get a little annoyed with some of that, where it's not straightforward pricing, which I believe we do a very good job of. Here's what the price is, here's what the product is. We don't hide a lot of different things in it.
Chris, what'd you base that potential customer number on? 24,000.
The fact that there are close to 24,000 residential dwellings within our service area.
Do we know what percent of those have internet now?
I do not off the top of my head. I do not. But you're right, there are probably a portion of those that do not subscribe to internet today. But I guess we all know too that that's becoming more and more important, that they do at least get access to it. And I don't know, you may have some assumptions here in the model too when we get to that. So those are the fundamentals. Primary differentiation point for us has been and always will be that we are local people providing local service. And I hear that constantly from our customers now. Our churn rate is very, very low, because when we get a customer, we keep that customer. We do everything possible to make them satisfied, happy with their service. The fact that they can call us and get someone in a timely manner, to them is amazing. It's kind of sad that the industry's gotten to the point where if I can actually call to somebody and reach somebody who can do something, that's great. They're tired of going to a call center in another country or another part of the United States. Here's some of the marketing tactics that we have used and we'll continue to use. It's all part of our business plan. The big one in Owensboro is word of mouth, very clearly. I mean, I get that down at Starbucks. I get that when I go in the store. Hey, when are you going to be at my house? When am I going to have it? We really have found that we have had to do minimal marketing, it's always been when somebody gets subscribed, they tell their neighbors, they tell their friends. But we will eventually, once we get a larger service area together, we will take advantage of broader tactics like billboards and radios and magazines and television ads potentially too. And I've seen a lot more of these driving over in our phase 2 area, so I love that. Yard signs. Sales and ordering is accomplished just by calling into our customer care center. We use our existing systems. We use a Google Calendar for the installations to schedule those. And installations are completed by contractors. We don't use in-house folks for the actual installations. And those guys have received numerous accolades for how great and professional they are. We have had to do very little rework on anything we've done. So we're fortunate to have them. Customer service, there's a tier 1 and a tier 2. The tier 1 is your basic questions. They come into the regular customer service center, things like billing, some basic questions maybe about speed. Pretty quickly though, if they get more technical, they need some support, so we offer a tier 2. Some of you may remember the broadband specialist position that I proposed. We have someone part-time that's helping us with this, and then the rest of the telecom staff kind of helps out as we can. But to me, this is probably one of the most essential positions of our entire group. This, as I mentioned, our competitive advantage is our customer service. This person, this role is essential for us to be successful. We can offer a great service, but, and I mentioned it at other meetings, we can offer great internet service, but there can be a perception because of Wi-Fi issues in the home, interruptions with wireless, cordless phones can create interruptions. There's all kinds of things that can affect that service that's not really our service, it's not affecting our service, but the customer perceives it, that it's our service that's having the issue. If they get a virus on their computer, it's not our internet service that's slowing everything down, it's their computer. But their perception is going to be, our service is slow, it's not good. So we got to get somebody out there real quickly to show them what the issue is, educate them, and then once that happens, they are happy to sing our praises and talk about how great, how responsive we were to their issues. Billing happens on a consolidated OMU bill. Engineering design is completed in-house by the delivery department. We actually have Austin here today, who is part of the financial analysis team. Make ready and construction is completed mostly by contractors too. So here we go. Here's the next steps. Here's what I'll get to. What I'd like, or what I propose, is that we build from our success with these initial pilot areas and work towards expanding the services citywide using the business model that we have justified in the pilot areas. Use a segmented approach. So here, this is of interest to everyone. This is how we've segmented the city of Owensboro. The engineering department has come up with a methodology to all of this. I do not have any sequence of these though. So in theory, each color represents a fiscal year that we would work towards completing this citywide rollout. But other than the NOC segment that I'll talk about in our budget, we're not really going to talk too much about the timing of these others, but they are in the details of the model. So, using this segmented and systematic approach over the next six fiscal years, we propose building out the rest of the city. For fiscal year 18, which is for next year's budget, what we're proposing is $2.3 million to complete what we're calling the NOC segment, which is, here's your phase 1 and phase 2 pilot areas. This would now, for fiscal 18, fill in this gap and provide service for this entire southern portion of the city, and add another 3,331 passings. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Jason, who is our team leader for the financial analysis team, and he will show you, to whatever detail you want, of how we have analyzed the opportunity with this, and what we propose to be the next step.